Now, many of you who have been following me by the channel know that I recently got a BMW. One of my videos actually showed me demonstrating how to put a battery into a key. And this is one of the cars I'm going to be working on. But there's a slight issue. This car had a problem when coming in here that every single time you try to put the key in, try to start it over, sometimes it would start, sometimes it wouldn't. So the basics of what I pretty much did so far to the car is I replaced the battery. No difference, still starts whenever it wants or it doesn't want. I actually took apart the entire snorkel and got all the way to the bottom just to test the starter with one of my buddies. And it wasn't the starter, but that's still open for debate. So what I ended up doing is looking online and I found something like this underneath the car. Now this is BMW's early 2001, I'm assuming, security system. This is called an EWS security relay, I guess it is. And as you can see, it seemed to have a little bit of corrosion in there. And on top of that, you can see on the inside, I'm trying to get a little bit better light. You can see on the inside, that little diode and that one back there have swollen up, meaning that this probably doesn't work as well as it should. Now this is important because when you ultimately, or from what I've understood of reading online, when you put the BMW key in this and turn it, it's supposed to send a signal. I don't know why I can't talk now. It's supposed to send a signal to this, and this basically sends the signal back to the key that says yes, this is the correct key for the car, and it tells the starter to turn on. And considering how this is corrosion and two of those swollen diodes in there, I'm assuming it's going to be this. So, and then while we were at it, since I said we had to take off the snorkel part to get to the starter, I noticed that on the snorkel, I don't know if you guys could see it here, but on this part, you can see how it's cracked on this side, and on the other side. Let's see if I could find it. Well, it might just be cracked on this side, but as you can see, it's cracked on this side pretty good. And this goes past the mass airflow sensor, which could actually set off a check engine light. So I got this part, $18, and I got this new part actually from BMW. So we're gonna try to put this new part in and put the snorkels back on and see if it starts. If it does, hooray, and we can finally bring it in and do other things to it. And if not, then I might have to look into the starter, even though the starter, when I tested it, was okay. So let's get this in the car and see if we can get this thing fired up. So this part, EWS, is actually underneath the driver's footwell to the left side over here. So I'll have to take this off. I've already taken this off a couple times, but this is held on by a metal clip, a Christmas tree, as I like to call them, and I believe a screw or two from both sides here, here, and here. So we're just gonna take this off real quick, and I'll show you guys exactly where it's located. Okay. All right, we'll just disconnect this little speaker of some sort, just to have a little more leeway. And we'll pull this off to the side as much as possible. So, if I could turn the flashlight on, this little piece actually belongs right up here where you can see the nylon nuts, and there's actually the connector to it. So I'm going to install this real quick, clip that on. So now that we've installed the EWS, which is only 2 nylon nuts both sides, and then we plugged in the clip, we know that part's new. So we'll just put this back to where it was, right on here. I won't screw anything down just in case we need to pull it off again, but I'm kind of hoping we don't have to. So I'll just slide this back over and just let it hang by this one metal clip. Just like that, nice and easy. Tuck that little cable in there. Cool. And like I said, we'll just let this hang right now just in case we have to do any more for that. So that's good. So next, like I said, we're gonna have to go into the engine compartment because I took all that stuff off to test the starter. And before I wanna start this thing, kind of don't want to throw any more check engine lights. We're gonna have to also clear this before we go any further. So what we're gonna do is get this open. Okay, there it is. And like I said, that pump or that hose connects in there and here. So we're gonna go get that and install it, along with a couple other intake and mass airflow parts, which I'll show you guys how to do. So we're gonna first install this part to that hose and that tiny one right there, just like that. And we're also gonna try to make sure that we're able to get to those later on. Now there should be off to the side there a little space for this little tang that comes with it to fit. So let's try to slip it on. Maybe it'll be good if we actually loosen this a bit, help ourselves out. All right, that's pretty loose as is. So now we'll just tighten this stuff up. So we'll go from here, tighten this little one down.
Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive, nothing in sight, forever in flight, follow those lines, we'll make it this time, blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight, oh yeah, we'll make it tonight, yeah. I'll do anything that I
So next, we're gonna get the mass airflow in, which is this colossal piece. Sneak that back in there. Just like that. We'll close it up. Cool. So, we will now we have two connections here. And I believe this one goes to right up here, like this. And there's a little clip that you actually get to push once you click it in. It's right there. You just push that in once it's on. I'm just gonna click that in, just like that, and push the clip in. Just like that, till it clicks. And that way we know it's secure. Excellent. Okay. And we'll have to tighten down with 2 bolts. So now we're just going to install the bolts here and under there to hold this mass airflow in place. And going right underneath. And I'm going to skip this part because it's just going to be me screwing down 2 bolts, so I think you guys get the idea. So now that we got the mass airflow sensor on, I have some bad news. I thought when I took this entire thing apart, I put all the pieces back in here. Well, it just so happens that I'm missing one of the pieces. This mass airflow connector to that pipe that sits on top of the air filter, like this, is missing the piece that connects this hose to that one. So that's a bummer. I don't know, I tried looking everywhere for it. I might have to just go and get a new one. maybe I forgot it somewhere and someone in the shop maybe threw it out by mistake or whatever it is. But the good news is I'm still able to test this, because even though this will still throw a check engine light, I can at least see if this thing starts over. Yeah, it'll probably run rough, but my entire thing is, as long as the car starts, at least I can move it from point A to point B, you know, at least that way I can move it into the shop. I don't have to worry about this too much. So let's see if we can just start it. So I will actually delete the codes right now. Let me get all these tools out of the way. I'll delete all the codes just so it has a fresh start and knows that it's a new EWS system, and we'll see if it turks over. I mean, that's generally been my biggest concern with this, and if not, I mean, I'm gonna have to take the whole thing apart anyway, because in order to get to the starter, which would be my next price of action, I'll have to take off the intake anyway, so it really wouldn't matter. So let's see if we can at least do that. Who knows, maybe I'll find it, maybe it'll be laying around somewhere, but let's at least delete the code and see if the car starts. So plug it into the old OBD port, just like that. Grab the key, turn the vehicle to the on position. Okay. And it's dead. Great. All right, well, let me grab the jump pack and we'll start from there, I guess. So jump pack on. Good. We have power. We have lights. Let's turn the key to the on position. Oh yeah. And let's delete the codes. I know the check engine light's gonna come on because we're missing the mass airflow sensor. It might run rough, but at this point, I'm just making sure that the car starts. So we got that, got that. Let's read the codes and see if it says communication, serial communication link. I'll have to look that up later. What is that? That is a P600. All right, I'll look at that later. All right, let's erase the codes, because now we have the new EWS in there. So that's deleted. Let's check IM readiness. Okay, it's cleared. Now let's just see if the thing starts or if it turns over. That'll be a success. Oh, that's good. That just means it doesn't have enough battery juice, but it turned over. Let's see if it does it again. Oh yeah, that might work. All right, let me grab the bigger jump pack and see if we can get this thing fired over. So we got the bigger pack here. Let's set this to engine start, because we just want to see if we can get it started. Lights are on. It's plugged in. Now let's see if it turns over. So before you tried to turn this thing over, it just wouldn't go. So my bet was on the EWS. Let's see. Does it? Battery's still weak, but it is clicking, which is the important part. Get a couple more juices out of it. Or it could just be now that the starter's stuck up because the EWS messed it up. But either way, at least it clicks now. So at least I know the next thing would be starter. Because before, nothing. You turned it on, all the lights were on, and it wouldn't even crank. So let's try this again. Give it a little more juice. Oh, it wants to go. But that battery's probably so shot. But in my book, I call that a win. So it works. That EWS was probably the whole main cause of why the car didn't want to start. And the starter is cranking over, or it's trying to, so I don't think it's the starter's fault. I think it's just the battery's now a little weak. And yeah, so I call that a win. I mean, yeah, we lost a piece like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I can always get another one. The important part is it will start once the battery's charged. So thank you. My name is Seabass, and thanks for watching Throttle Hobby. Till next week.